Dice Age is made possible thanks to the support of our patrons. We'd especially like to thank our living legend, Silgwyn. Thank you very much, and enjoy the show.
The Empire of Maca has existed for nearly 1,000 years. Founded and ruled by Avon the Main, the immortal Empress, it quickly expanded its borders thanks to the overwhelming power of its mages and the shrewd politics of its nobles. Now it has fully conquered the centre of the continent of Almera, and although war has ended, peace still eludes its populace. As the Empire nears its first millennia, the signs of turmoil have become more frequent and apparent. Monsters are becoming more bold, nobles plot schemes of usurpation, and whispers of rebellion hang heavy in the slums. This gave rise to the adventurer. These strong individuals of all races and classes lend their might to the citizens of Maca to drive back monstrous incursions. There are even adventurers who perform deeds so noble that the people can see beyond their race to the hero that lies within. There are those who criticise these adventurers and claim they're nothing more than pawns used to advance the political machinations of nobles. Despite the immortal Empress herself making fewer and fewer appearances, there are those whose faith in the Empire remains unshaken, but the wise know that it only takes a few sparks to ignite the flames of change. Allow me to introduce you to these sparks. Welcome to Almera.
Hello and welcome to Dice Age, an actual play D&D show. My name is Jack, I'm the Dungeon Master. With me, as always, are most of our wonderful heroes. Would you all please go around and introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Alice Rose, and I play T, your elven sorceress.
Hey, I'm Dakota, and I play Esarish, your human rogue.
Hey, I'm Zach, and we're playing Tauros, your tiefling paladin.
Hey, I'm Trey, and I'm playing Oberon versus Max Training is putting it as Alexander, your drow fighter.
Are we Oh no, wait, sorry, I forgot. Yeah, he's dead. So he's not going to be here.
Who?
Jack, as AJ's only woman friend, as evidenced by the fact that I'm the only woman here.
Right.
You are?
I am, in fact. Fun fact. He asked me if I could read something special. The eulogy of Edgar.
Okay.
Oh no.
We gather here today to celebrate the life and memory of our dear friend, Edgar Wood. In his last will and testament, he requested that certain possessions be left to his friends, and that we tell the story of his death as it was totally sick AF. Alright. To Tauros, he leaves the Whiplacer beast, as he hopes it doesn't awaken anything in him. To Essa, he leaves his martyr complex. He hopes it serves him just as well. To T, he leaves the unsettling feeling of not knowing how to interact with people. He hopes that it teaches her some personal boundaries. And lastly, to his dearest brother Oberon, he leaves behind his most powerful weapon, the one thing he had hoped to bring with him to the beyond. The phrase, "that's hot." He hopes it ruins as many random encounters for Oberon as it did for him. And with that, we now turn to a 7-year-old that we bribed with an amount of Robux worth more than I am to actually recap the episode. Timmy?
Alright, so first they killed these two awesome ladies, the Claudius ones. The magic one got totally nerfed, and the beefy one didn't even get to do any of the awesome stuff she could do. It was total bullshit!
Timmy!
Sorry. Anyway, they took down the pillars super fast because of T's awesome magic. So when the dome thing opened and Claudius Sr. woke up, he turned to Edgar and went, "Fuck you!" And so he died super hard.
Timmy!
My gods. So then they almost died, and then they almost killed him, and then they did. Then a goddess who turned out to be Maka reached out to Edgar in the dead people place and asked him to come back for his revenge. He took out a ton of favors and ended up helping Oberon get a final blow through Tauros's weapon. Claudius Sr. was gonna escape, but then Edgar got another favor from Maka and dragged him to hell with him.
You know what? Actually, I'm going to allow that one.
Good. So now their dad is still passed out and probably dead, and who's gonna tell Edgar's mom and partner?
Okay, that's enough of you, Timmy. Jack, was that good enough?
Yeah, no, I think that covers it.
Tight.
All right. Well, now that
Rip
we've
to a real one.
indeed,
Real one.
and now that we've got that settled, it's time for us to return to the world of Elmira.
All right, who's paying this kid the $50 Roblox gift card?
Fuck, I don't have that kind of money.
Ooh,
Fuck
I
that.
thought we agreed on $10.
You think Alice's value is that low?
We just had an amount of Robux worth more than me.
I mean, fair, but
It's fair.
So we return to the scene within the Claudius laboratory where the dead bodies of, the dead bodies of Edgar and Grace Claudius lay, as well as the still body of Regulus Claudius the 30th. And you all have just witnessed your friend's death.
Oberon is just kind of still sitting there, just cradling Edgar's body, and just like slowly takes off his cloak and begins like wrapping it around him, almost like I forget what the actual
A burial shroud.
word. Yeah, burial shroud. There we go. Wrapping his cloak around him. But before he does so, he is just going to take. Yeah, he just kind of like takes the Claudius rapier and like places it on Edgar's chest and like crosses his arms over it and finishes wrapping him up. And still not saying a word, just carries him over to Woon and places him on his back.
Yeah, Woon kneels
Okay,
down
okay.
to allow you to place him on the back.
I
Sorry.
remember Woon's actually unconscious because he got hit by the attack, the last
shit.
attack Claudius did.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
bleeding out.
As while he's wrapping him, Taurus would kind of go around and just like check up on everyone, and he would give Woon 5 hit points.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Woon now stabilized and standing, does accept Edgar on his back. Does anyone want to go collect what they owe from Grace Claudius?
T will do it.
While Oberon is doing that and T's doing that, I'm gonna go try and wake RC30.
Give me a medicine check.
We will do medicine.
Don't nat one, or just let Tauros.
5.
I was gonna say.
I'm not like trying to stabilize him. I'm just trying to see if I can wake him up by like shaking him, basically. I'm like,
Yeah. I'm gonna let you know from that medicine check. You know that he seems unconscious. You can't seem to rouse him. You don't know exactly what's going on, but he doesn't seem like he's dying at the very least.
I'm gonna call Tauros over.
Yeah, he'll kind of like pat Essa on the back, just kind of gently as he kind of kneels down, and we'll hold out a hand and drop a level 1 cure wounds.
Okay.
His last level 1 spell. Let's see how much he gets.
Oh, God, damage!
We're gonna ignore that. It's just the set. You heal and you see like his body, like where it was pale and kind of malnourished looking a little bit. He has like a healthier look to him, but he's still unconscious. It seems like this is something beyond that level of healing magic.
Can I make like a? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, T, as you're siphoning the blood from Grace Claudius, you'll see that she has an array of magic items all over her person. Would you like to take the time to inspect them?
Yeah, while the blood is draining into the haunting jar, I'll take a peek.
Yeah. So you find on her a wand, a short bow that seems to be emanating some kind of magic. Uh, she is wearing a robe that, at first, like you couldn't really see much detail on it because you were fighting way in the back. But as you're like up close personal with her, you see that there appear to be several eyes on the robe. Uh,
Huh.
she's also wearing a ring as well.
Okay.
We can get those identified later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to write down a robe, ring, wand, and short bow.
Bow. Yeah.
She's also wearing some armor that seems to be giving off magic. It's scale mail.
Well, she's inspecting that. Can I make like an intelligence check or some kind of like an arcana check to see if I can notice that this is like if he's in some kind of magical induced state, like a magically induced coma, basically?
Yeah, give me an arcana check.
That's a 10. God damn it.
It's hard to tell. You really don't know. He seems unconscious. The healing spell worked, so he's not dead. But as it seems like you aren't able to rouse him from his unconscious state.
Yeah. And like it's around this time that like Essa, I would say like the minute has passed. Obviously, that the ghost form drops, and Essa feels that chill over his soul. That where he realizes he failed again to get a kill during his ghost form, and he kind of like I'm not gonna say like he passes up. I'm gonna make a sort of a con check to see if he can kind of keep himself upright. I was at the modified 20. Yeah, he like stabilizes himself on the dais, just kind of taking a breather.
Yep. Okay.
At this point, Oberon's gonna walk over. Was he? Yeah, like
Right.
sees him still unconscious. Just is he?
He's
Is he
alive.
okay?
He's alive, but the healing magic didn't wake him up.
Boris,
He might
not
be
almost
understand-
like not that he's not listening, but he's kind of still focusing on Claudius. He's going to upcast detect magic to look if there's anything on him.
Yeah.
Any markings, any colors that will kill him. That kind
Oh,
of
right.
Can you imagine? OG Claudius comes back in his body. And forgets he put the power and kill collar on himself. Oh fuck!
He's just gonna look for any like sneaky shit on him.
Yeah.
With his detect magic eyes.
Yeah. So you cast detect magic. You sense that there's definitely some enchantment magic. Something like not dissimilar to a sleep spell. But there's no like evocation, there's no abjuration, the kind of things that you would expect to see if it was. Actually,
We've seen.
give me a charisma check.
Alrighty. Not. That's a 10.
Yeah. Beyond being able to tell that it's an enchantment, not unlike sleep. That's really all you can get from them. You don't see any like big red flags.
Okay. I could try to and while still kind of looking him over, I could try using another spell, but he looks pretty out of it. I could try giving him a protection, but I don't know if it will bring him.
I think it might be best to wait until we're regrouped with. No offense to you, Tauros, but people who have better healing magic to see if we can wake him up.
This may be something that could be, if it's something similar to a spell that's keeping him asleep, it may be able to be dispelled.
Understood. And he'll. Dispel magic could be useful right now, and I have a level 3 spell slot.
I mean, you can try
Revivify on
it,
Grace
see what happens.
Claudius.
I only have one level 3 spell slot. Just in case anyone else somehow decides to kick it, he's gonna save it. He will kind of he will carefully like pick him up. I'm assuming wounds kind of taken up with sleeping
Wounds
Edgar's.
big enough to, as long as Oberon doesn't ride him, he could carry both of them.
Okay. Yeah,
So
he'll carefully place him atop wound.
yeah, and made sure that Edgar was like very like secure in place. Same
Yeah.
with
Yep.
his father. Like make sure like specifically the harness is like in for him, and like he's resting like upper body on wounds back. Like not trying to just have him be ragdolled everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. So you take the time. T, you now have just a big old jar of blood. Also, I forgot to mention that while like searching her person and also just kind of like looking around this room, you do find there's a desk in the room that is covered in papers, notes, all sorts of things, as well as as a notebook being on the person of Grace Claudius.
can we read anything that's in there?
When you look at them, they all are in a cipher. There's a code to them.
Can we look on Grace's person to see if she may have had a decoder on her?
I think she is the decoder.
Give me an investigation check to like look on her person to see if she has a hidden cipher code.
Absolutely. That's a 31.
31. You know definitively that she does not have a cipher code on her.
Essa's like getting annoyed about all these goddamn ciphers he keeps getting stuck by. So he's just gonna kick Grace's body, just fucking bitch.
She jumps up and stabs you. No. So
Please do. I give me a reason.
Give me a fucking reason.
But yeah. So with that being done, you collect the. I imagine you're collecting the notes that were part of Kollick's deal with you, as well as the blood.
Yep.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to be that there's much left in this lab for you all.
Let's start heading back.
Yeah, if no one has objections, I'd like to never see these walls again.
All right.
Yeah.
So you all go through that golden teleportation circle and walk back out and find yourselves once again in the central forest. You all know that the APE forces are currently marching to Eadstown. From the last report that you got from them, they should be arriving there in 2 days. You also know that you've already sent ahead Ellacreek to Ellacreek, and that the Republican forces are soon to be arriving there. Where do you all want to start heading?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Eadstown's not under our control currently. That's just where we fought Ward, right?
That's right.
Okay,
Correct.
just want to be sure. I didn't know if we had taken it yet.
No, the APE forces will be attempting to take over the city once they arrive. Right now, as well, the forces of the rebellion and Tolestadt are marching from Kashel to the city of Inach.
Can you put us on like the main map just so we can?
Oh, sorry, I forgot I didn't move you guys there already.
Just so I can get a visual of where we're located. Okay.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but the main, like where Planning and all of them are going to be marching, is going to be Eadstown.
That's right.
Eastbound, yep.
Let's head back to Eadstown.
Yeah.
All right. So you all begin traveling to Eadstown. The journey for this day is fairly uneventful, and it is uh, at night as you all are setting up camp and preparing for to rest. Uh, you hear stirring on Wound's back, and when you look, you see that it appears that Regulus Claudius the 30th is rousing from his unconscious state.
The second that he is, Oberon's just going to be like right by him, like helping unbuckle him and just like get him like down to ground level, like where, and just like, it's okay, father.
Yeah, his legs are weak, so he's kind of like sitting on the ground, leaning against Wound. And as you say that, he looks up at you and like he has this confused look on his face, and then he says, "Oberon, where? How did? What's this?"
It's okay. It's okay. Just take a second. Take a second. Reorient yourself. As I'm going to offer him like my some water just to drink.
Yeah, he takes it, chugs down a good bit of it, and then says, "Where's your grandfather? He's trying to kill us. We
He's
need to."
he's not an issue anymore.
And then he hears you say that. There's this doubt and fear on his face, but
Can I roll just a pure charisma check to see how well I can get this through to him?
yeah, I'd say you can make that a persuasion check.
Persuasion? Yeah.
Okay, persuasion. Cool. Blah, 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 blah. And 11.
An 11. So he's still kind of in this panic state, but you see like him kind of processing things. Then he says, "I can hardly believe it, but considering that I'm here and not where he is, I assume I'll have to take your word for it." And he looks around, he sees the rest of you, and then he goes, "Is Edgar not with you?"
We all
When
look to Oberon.
when the second he said, I'm gonna roll a wisdom save to see how well Oberon keeps a straight face right here.
Mhm.
Cool. Is my roll 20. Okay. 14. Keeps a relatively good face. Like it's for somebody who didn't know Oberon, it would be like, oh, okay. But everybody in this party and even his father can see like there's just he doesn't he looks like he's looking at his father, but he's just looking like 8 inches to the left. And he just goes, Edgar Edgar didn't make it.
Uh, your father's face just falls, and he says, "He's
He's he's gone. And there's no way of bringing it back.
He looks confused. He looks to you, Tor. Says, "You're a paladin, are you not? Can you not revive my son?"
He's not like he's like kind of like by the fire, like almost like just like cleaning his sword, and he just like can't look at him.
There's no cleric
He
that could bring him back.
he pushed himself to a point where his soul can no longer return. He
He.
knew
Sorry, go ahead.
he knew what he was getting himself into. He chose what he thought was right. And that's all he says is he's like still like not looking at him, just like looking at his sword as he cleans it.
It's
Her
not.
ladyship Maka granted him more time than he would have had. He's the reason that we're safe.
Doing so at the cost of his chance of ever coming back.
completely ashen-faced as he leans back against Wound. And he looks to you, Oberon, and says, "There's nothing I could do."
Oberon. He did it. Oberon just looks away for a second, but then just no. There is something you can do. Something that he died for. And he'll just put both his hands on his father's shoulder. Live. Live how he would have wanted us to.
He kind of nods, but you can tell that it's definitely not. You didn't say the wrong thing to him, but it's not something that's giving him comfort.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's yeah.
And for the rest of the night, he'll be pretty silent.
Yeah.
But then, sorry, and then he'll look to you again, Oberon, as he's processing that, and he goes, "But Annie, is Annie okay?"
She's fine. She's currently with Castor right now in maybe the most well-defended encampment that we know of. She's okay.
Okay. And then now, for the rest of the night, he'll be pretty much silent.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next day, you all continue your travels to Eadstown. When you all, so something I should have asked earlier. Who took the sending stone that Edgar had?
It was probably Oberon, right?
Oberon would have it,
While
yeah.
wrapping him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Oberon would have it.
Oberon, about halfway through your journey for this day, you receive a message in the sending stone.
Mm-hmm.
It is from Planin, and he says that the APE forces have arrived in Eadstown and found it unguarded. The Imperial Army is no longer in the city. And that initial scouts and investigations show that it appears that there's been a retreat back to the city of Avon.
Is that it?
And then also asking for a status update on where you all are and what your plans are.
How many words do I have for this, Jack?
For sending, it's
25.
25. I'm not going to be that strict about it.
Well, he essentially, it's just going to be, this is Oberon. We saved Father, slew Ward, Edgar didn't make it. Please let us tell them en route however many days we are out. Like however much time we are.
You guys are, yeah, you still have 3 days before you arrive in Eadstown.
3 days out. And that's all he's going to say.
All right. Uh, yeah, you. I'll say. You feel a cast of sending, not the sending stone, but a sending to you uh, from Planin. Uh, deepest condolences. And you said we got Ward. Did you mean to say we got Claudius?
Well, we slew Ward.
We
I didn't.
slew
I can't
Ward.
remember.
Yeah, we
I
killed
can't remember
I don't
Ward.
if we told Planin that we dealt with Ward.
Yeah, we never did. We just told him we were going. No, wait. I
We
think
told
we
him
did.
that we were going to Ward, but we never
Yeah.
told him that we dealt
We
with Ward.
killed. Yeah, I don't think we
Okay.
were told him that we killed her.
Nor did we ever
We
tell him
went-
that we are going after Claudius. I don't think.
Because we learned instantly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
we didn't
Ward.
have
wanted
time.
to keep him
We
in the
didn't have
dark
time.
about a lot of stuff because we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah. He
Gotcha.
knew we were
Yeah.
going to Ward. I don't think he knew we were going to Claudius.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, but you did just say that you saved your father.
Yes.
Mhm.
Which I'm pretty sure Plan knew our father was in danger, but
Right.
we didn't know.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, he says, my condolences. We'll be sure to arrange a proper funeral for him upon your arrival. I'll do my best to allow you to give the news to his loved ones. And that's what you get from him.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 days of journeying later, and you all arrive. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say one thing that Oberon would do at some point is remove like the makeshift burial shroud from him and remove Edgar's eye patch
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of like tuck it away in his pouch for the moment and then rewrap him.
Okay. As you all finally arrive at the gates of Eadstown, the place where last time you were here, you were defeating Ward and with the assistance of the cards, you see that camps have been erected around the city, that there appears to be people staying within the city as well. It is now the 9th day of Boanan, and the cool autumn air is now it's coming in, and you are seeing several trees are having their leaves change colors as the fall is well underway at this point. It doesn't take long before you are all here. Where are you planning to go first? Like it's you're recognized very quickly.
Directly to where Planet is.
You
like
are
where
all,
I know the central encampment is.
Yeah, so you are all taken to the central encampment, and you find Planin, and he approaches, looks to you all, and has this face of deep sorrow and mourning as he sees Edgar's body in the shroud, and looks to you, Oberon, and says, words cannot express the sorrow that I feel for your loss and the loss that all of you must be suffering right now. He was truly a good man.
Yeah, as he says that, Oberon like doesn't really say too much. He looks to him, looks to Plan, nods, and just says, "Where's Sierra?"
Planin gestures to another room within the tent and says she's been waiting there. I've not told her, but she's perceptive, and she knows that something is wrong.
he nods. And he turns to the rest of the group. If you wouldn't mind updating, planning on what exactly happened.
Of course.
And he also turns to plan. Is Ken in the camp?
They are. They've been awaiting your return as well, and I can summon
Can
them
you
so that
send
they
for
can.
them?
Mhm.
Please do.
Yeah. Uh, he motions to Hildra, who's there as well, and she goes off to go find Kin.
And Oberon will begin heading to that room. He'll have Woon follow him, but stop right outside the room.
Yeah. Uh, you go ahead and enter the room?
Yeah, he would.
Right. You enter and you see Sierra. She is sitting at a chair on a chair, and her head like snaps up when she sees you enter, and she looks and she has this like anxious, anxiety-ridden face, and says, "What happened? I know something happened. What happened?"
Mm-hmm. No, I ain't even gonna roll for it. The second she says what happened, um, Oberon still keeps the stoic look on his face, but they're actively like a couple tears just leak out of his eyes. I'm sorry. I wasn't able to. I
Uh, Tears are already welling up in her face, and she says, "I want to see my son."
He's gonna give like almost a very like imperceivable whistle, and Wound's gonna walk in, and he's just gonna like take the shroud and like holding it in his arms, he's gonna slowly peel it back.
There's a catch in Sierra's voice as she suppresses a wail of grief that surely would have erupted, and she uh, she moves to embrace Edgar's body, and like kind of pulls it away from you.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, uh,
He lets her like the second that he feels like any modicum of her pulling, he lets her like as gently as he can to make it like not just like a she yanks it from him
right.
like he's giving it to her but still letting her like wrestle control.
Yeah, she takes and she begins just weeping, sobbing, for what feels like hours, before she looks up at you and says, "How did he die? Who did this to him?"
My grandfather.
Why did you go and fight him when you knew that this could happen, that this would happen? What was so important that you needed to risk my son's life?
Oberon is like legitimately out lost for words for a second. Like he has the answer, but as he starts replaying it in his head, he just realizes how awful it is. And it was the chance to put an end to the threat that he possessed, to finally free his shadow from looming over all of our heads, to finally make sure that our family would not have to have him as a specter haunting us for the rest of our lives. Even as
Sorry, go ahead.
even as I say these words, I know that they're hollow, and I know that nothing I can say will excuse the fact that I led your son to die.
She kind of chuckles a bit and she says, "Of course. Of course, he died trying to save people. Suppose I can't be too angry then. I need to be
You're
alone
wrong.
with my son."
Oberon nods, and as he gets up to leave, there is one thing. He didn't die trying to save people. He died knowing that he saved an incomprehensible amount of people. And he'll just leave after that.
As you go to leave, Ken rushes through the door, uh, and you hear them begin to sob as well. As you don't see it, but you know that they ran to embrace Edgar along with Sierra.
Mhm.
And you return to the room with Planin and your compatriots and your father.
Right before he leaves to enter back into the room, he just takes a deep breath and makes sure to wipe his tears and re-enter the room as they can have whatever conversation they were having while all this happened.
Yeah. So I'm guessing that the rest of you all were informing Planin of what had happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If as Planet asked, Essa just goes, Regulus Claudius is gone for good.
Truly, the right hand of the Empress is no longer alive.
We all
It's
saw it.
what Edgar gave his life.
If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have succeeded.
He tears stream down his face as well, and then he smiles and says, "Too good of a man to die to too evil of a man." Uh, I shall arrange for a proper, a sorry funeral for Edgar. I hope that you all will be in attendance.
Before you go, one thing we neglect to mention, but is important to everything going on. When Edgar died, for a brief moment he came back through the powers of Maka.
Uh, Wide eyes and surprise on Planet's face.
She brought him back for a moment, at the cost of ever being able to revive him. And with what little power she could give, she allowed him to permanently erase Regulus Claudius from existence.
Indeed. And he'll kind of look around, see that it's just you all, Hildra. He looks to the room that Sierra and Kin are, and then sees Regulus the 30th, and says, "Forgive me, I must ask that you allow me to speak with these all here privately." And RC30 looks kind of like confused, but nods and walks out of the tent. Uh, he looks to you all again and says, I do not know if Edgar shared this with you, but before he left, I made a request of him. I asked that in the event that you all defeat the Empress and restore the relic, that instead of simply destroying it, that you use it for a specific purpose. It's something that I thought may only be a possibility, but with this news that you have just shared with me, I think that this may be something that we could honestly achieve. As he's saying this, like he's kind of like looking for your reactions to see if you did hear from Edgar what he had talked to him about.
He did tell us, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, after
Yeah.
I'm assuming Oberon's come back at this point.
Yeah.
Oberon just nods.
Very well. I will ask this of you all. With the restoration of the relic, I wish to use it to revive the goddess Maka in an attempt to stir discord between the Sylvanist gods, in an attempt to potentially find justice for the destruction that was given to both her and to my goddess. I know that this is not a good time to be asking things of you all, but hearing that news, would you all be willing to do this? The relic is yours. He says, like he's like kind of catching himself and like
Yeah.
seems to
This whole
calm.
time, Edgar's been kind of not like hiding the bag of holding, but definitely kind of gripping onto it,
Mhm.
like ready to run if he asks for it.
Yeah, no, he says like I'll say like he kind of like notices that and then just says, "The relic is yours, of course." And he kind of like sighs and looks back up at you all and says, "Forgive me, I should not be asking you this in this moment. Now is the time for you all to grieve, not to be besieged by an old man and his desires. I'll begin preparing for the funeral." And he's going to start heading out.
Before he leaves, like Taurus has kind of been keeping to the back. Just, I want to help. He'll kind of like speak up. I want to be there at the funeral rites. I want to help usher his soul on.
Langman smiles. He says, "Very well. I can't imagine it being more appropriate than for one of his friends, and especially one of his friends in service to the divine of the Asori, to assist with this." And then he'll gesture for you and Hildred to come with him as he will start walking you through the preparations for the funeral, leaving T, Oberon, and Essa in the tent.
Does anyone have a brain cell to spare about this, or do we want to be crying ugly messes for a while before thinking? Because I could go for it.
Do we even have time to grieve? I mean, look where we are. We're right outside of a town. Granted, no battle taking place, but still we're marching on the capital.
It should be done. What plan and wishes?
I was kind of thinking that too. From when we met her, holy shit, she seemed like a kind woman. I can't get a glimpse of a goddess from 30 seconds of crying, but from all I've heard, legend and truth, I think it would be suitable and bring truth to light.
Seems like it's what's the only other thing that we could think to use it for? And Oberon just kind of like snorts to bring him back.
I don't
That would
think
be.
that's possible.
He looks at her. With this, it would be.
When you have a relic of the divine, there's very little that is impossible.
But if we did that, we'd be spitting in the face of everything that Edgar stands for and sacrificed. If we brought him back, knowing that there was a chance to potentially turn the very foundations of this war on its head, I feel like he would never forgive us or himself.
You're probably right about that. And we should consult Tauros as well. Are the three of us in agreement?
Brown just nods.
Seems that Dakota had to step away for a second. But we'll just cut around this. Or I'll just go ahead and pause the recording.
During this whole conversation, Essa's just, outside of like one or two comments, Essa's been quiet and he's just been, I don't know if to say introspective, but he's been very like just quiet and not really focusing on anything, just kind of trembling in a sense.
Essa, you're scaring
if-
me again.
If it's okay with you, Dakota, could I roll an insight? I'm not trying to see what Essa's thinking. I want to see what Essa's body language is giving off in this moment. Like, are they retreating into themselves, or are they like frustrated? Are they sad? Like,
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
is that fair?
Yeah, I have a DC set in mind. If that's okay.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Oh. That's a 21.
Yeah, crush it. It's very plain to see with that insight that Essa, what he's feeling in this moment is there's not really a tell on what emotion it is. It's almost just like he's very much pulled into himself and is not like thinking about the outside world, not paying attention to you all. His own thoughts have kind of started to overcome him, and you can see like with every pulse, like every beat of the heart, every pulse, you can see like that kind of blackened veins, the same kind of stuff you see when he's in that ghostly form kind of appear. Like not like he's about to transform, but like as if he's not focusing on keeping it at bay.
Like the influence is kind of spreading, not taking
Yeah.
control. The second Oberon sees this, sorry, Dakota. The second Oberon sees this, his eyes just narrow and just Essa. And with that, like he's going to activate his storm rune, and the same like crown of lightning appears. And if his shout does his shout get through to Essa?
I'm gonna make a wisdom save to see if
with advantage.
To see if you can hear that.
Oh,
Nice.
Even with advantage,
fuck.
it doesn't
I-
help at all.
He's not a wise guy.
Cool.
He just he like turns to you, but like the best way to describe S's body language is it's almost like he's in the midst of some kind of anxiety or panic attack. Like he is breathing really hard.
Mhm.
He is
Um,
like crumbling into himself, and like his hands are shaking, and gripping the bag as if like
mhm.
that's his lifeline.
Cool. As this happened and Oberon sees this, I'm gonna roll a wisdom save for Oberon to see how this is about to go down. This is about to go down either very badly or
He
very.
stepped in, believes you have the highest persuasion.
How's T reacting to seeing Oberon using runes and trying to is shouting
Is
at
shout.
T's
Dakota?
T's freaking out a little, not necessarily because of the lengths that Oberon is going to, but because of what Essa's doing.
Mhm.
Because she's been scared about this.
Uh, cool. So that keeps Oberon from literally just shaking Essa.
Doesn't keep T from doing that.
See, you
Uh,
run up and start shaking Essa.
T a little gentler than that, but
um,
she does grab his arm. It's like Essa, like gives him a little shake.
hmm
Essa,
uh,
can you hear us?
I'll let Essa make another wisdom save with that.
Yeah,
And
I know.
does the advantage
Oberon will
still?
give. Yeah, Oberon can give it every round.
Oh my
Oh
god,
my
that's a
god,
three.
it's
Oh my god.
Cool.
worse!
So
We're
being
gonna lead
kind
him
is
over to a seat.
um
Yeah.
Just sit him down.
as that's happening, Oberon's just going to kneel in front of Essa, and he's just going to put his hands on his shoulder.
hmm
And actually, at the end of his turn, I need Essa to give me a wisdom save
Uh-oh.
without advantage.
Oh, great.
The two.
It's getting worse. He is sinking
No,
further.
no.
Are you using the
Because
stone rune to?
I'm going to activate the stone runes. So essentially, what happens is Oberon like grabs you by the shoulders and just, it's okay, calm down, and like those like same like bits and pieces of like and ruffle like begin to gently float around you, Essa, and your eyes kind of just like follow each, and you just like you enter into a dream. Like, so what would be a calming dream for Essa to have in this moment?
That's, I think, what Essa sort of thinks of if he was to be calm is just no sneaking, no ghost powers, no rogue stuff, just living life and kind of in the beauty of the world around him. Like some kind of like beautiful, sort of serene spot in nature that he's just relaxing in, being
and
able to breathe in.
and that's all that you like enter. And as you enter that dream state, you just hear Oberon's voice like, it's okay, that's not happening yet, just relax.
It's not fair.
Life rarely is, but in this moment you're safe and we're here. And upon that, Oberon is going to like, upon seeing the death grip that has on the bag of holding that has like gradually like lapsed,
Loosened.
he's just going to
Feel
like gently take the bag of holding from him, and he's going to just pass it to T.
Past what?
The
The bag
bag
of
of holding.
holding.
Bag of holding. Oh
It's
yeah.
the urn with the relic in it.
Very casually putting it on her shoulder.
And then there's a moment when Essa starts calming down that you watch as he takes off his gloves. And as he takes off both of them, like the gauntlets, like whatever gauntlets he has on, his skin is that permanent green color that he is when he's in his ghost form. He's in his normal like human self, but his hands are now permanently that green coloration, almost kind of see through, like slightly transparent.
Oberon just gives like a sigh, just, well,
Not
it's
two
going.
brothers in 1 week, okay, Essa?
He should. She
Uh,
could have brought him back. There's something we can
No.
do. There has.
You know there
No.
wasn't.
And don't speak like that.
You felt the Reaper like I did. He's gone.
In moments like these, where he is gone, the only thing that keeps him around is us. Don't keep him around as this looming phantom of what you could have done. Don't do that to his memory.
I think Essa now kind of calmed down, and like the whole time he has not really looked at Tio Oberon. Like he's looked at them, but it's very clear even without like a check, he's almost like looking through them. His eyes are not focused. He just kind of stands up, and he just goes, "I'll be around," and he's gonna walk out. And he's just gonna walk somewhere within like within the encampment, just away from everybody.
All right.
T's not happy about letting him go, but doesn't want to stop him.
I was about to say Oberon will
He leaves the gloves there with Tianessa, like not Tianessa, Tina Oberon, like just kind of his ghostly hands kind of fully exposed.
Oberon will if T for a moment looks like she is going to go after Essa, he'll just put a hand on her shoulder. Just sometimes I know it's not good to be alone. I feel like the only person that Essa can get answers from right now is himself.
I don't like him being on his own. He thinks too much.
She'll pick up the gloves and put them in the bag.
Fuck, how are you?
Oh. You know.
T will give him a hug. She knows he wasn't looking for any comfort, but she's going to provide it regardless.
I'm sorry.
The second the words leave her mouth, his arms just almost as if he's just afraid that hugging her is going to break her. Just why did it have to be him?
He was
I
too
should-
noble for his own good.
That was supposed to be my job.
And I think we will move from here, if you don't mind me cutting in just a little bit.
Go for it.
No, fuck off.
You.
We'll move in from here. Time passes, and then eventually, it becomes to sunset. The funeral will be beginning as soon as the sun is set. During this time, Tauros, you will be instructed by Planin and Hildra on how to perform the funeral. A large pyre will be set up, and Edgar's body is his clothes are removed. His body is washed by his mother and Planin. He's put into funeral garments, just like simple clothing, and placed on the pyre. You all are gathered around. Everyone attending is unfortunately Annie is back in Ongar with the other civilian corps. Uh, so she's not able to attend this. But uh, uh, Regulus Claudius 30th is here. Hildra, Planin, the members of the council, Malika, uh, Kin, the two other goth kids. All
What
the
are their
people.
names? What are their names, Jack?
Hey man, you want to cool it? Huh?
Are you are you
Yo, it's a
are you
funeral.
are you are
Yo,
you, are you
show some
talking about
respect.
are you talking about Zuzu and Saul, Si?
Yes.
God damn.
Holy shit.
Uh, yes. Zuzu and Saul are here. And yeah. So uh, there's uh, Tauros. You stand at the front, and you can begin.
Like, is this like a small group or like is this a large like?
There's several people here. A lot of people came to attend, but only the like the core, like closest family and friends are like in the center, like around
Okay.
the
Yeah.
where the pyre is. It's currently unlit. It's just on like his body's resting on the what will be lit.
Mm-hmm. He'll kind of like look over to Planin for like a nod of go ahead.
Yep. He gives it to you.
He kind of like takes a deep breath and like this entire time like he's had this face of like he's been trying to hold it, his stone cold normal emotionless look, but it's almost been like a mix of like this small bit of anger at himself for not being able to do something and this just deep sorrow, but he just keeps his composure as he just takes a deep breaths. Edgar Wood. He was
I thought you were just going to end it there. I'm not going to lie.
Edgar Wood. Wood. Edgar Wood was strong. He was a powerful warrior, a friend, a brother. He was a man who fought for what was right, for his own justice, for true justice. I know I'm speaking for a lot of us here when I say that if it wasn't for him, I would be a different person. He saw the world differently. He knew how it should be, as people in it should be. He fought for something better, something worth fighting for. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have ever taken my new oath. I would have, and he like, kind of like thinks back on like the very first days of the meetings. I could have hurt people, innocent people, but he opened my eyes as I know he opened a lot of ours here's. He helped us see a world that he believed was right. He helped me see the people around me. He made the world not so dark anymore. He made it less scary. Made us feel not so alone. Because of him, I know who I am. As many of you all must feel now. It's all because of this man before you. As he kind of like, you see, he hasn't had any weapons. You see, there's two swords on his side as he unholsters them, and he actually kind of crosses them over his chest. There's a whip that seems to be made of some kind of displacer beast, the tentacle, and there's a sword, but it's a rapier, not like the one he was using, but a sword that harkens back to when he first started adventuring. Edgar's rapier, painted black with some bits of red, that he painted on to make look like blood. And you see he's kind of like starts to glow as his eyes close, and you feel all around you this energy, this warm, almost light firelight, as this almost steam, like it's like this like light yellow steam starts to rise from everywhere around him, and then he'll kind of like open his eyes, and they're glowing this bright yellow as he's going to cast ceremony, uh, upscaling it to level 3 purely for aesthetics because it doesn't do anything mechanically. But you feel like this energy about you. Would anyone like to say anything? You kind of like look around at the group.
Sierra steps forward and says, "My son was braver than I could have ever imagined. I miss him so dearly, and I know that I will continue to miss him my whole life. But I know that he gave his life in pursuit of his dream of a better world." Uh, Ken will step forward and say, I I loved him more than anyone I've ever met. Hate I hate that he's dead, but I will not stop until I realize his dream. Uh, the floor opens. If anyone wishes to speak.
Essa's going to walk up and go, Edgar is the one who pulled me from a dark path that I was going down. He encouraged me to fight for what was right when I had all but given up on it. His drive, his memory, and his will will never be forgotten.
E? Would T like to say
Yeah,
anything?
T will stand up and I count myself fortunate to have been in his company for as long as I got. I'll I'm going to miss my brother forever. And she's going to take a rose in a vial that was given to her as a birthday present and lay it beside him. Where he...
And Taurus's like glowing eyes will kind of like turn to Oberon for like almost like an encouragement to say something.
Yeah. Uh, upon seeing that, Oberon just goes up and Edgar is not the kind of person who appears once a decade, once a century. He's the type of person, friend, son, brother, that people can only dream of having once in a lifetime. He was the type of person to always dream of making an impact far beyond what the world said he was able to. When the world tried to kick him down, bury him, he fought tooth and nail to climb above the hatred, the oppression, and rise up Not to be as good as those who put him down, but to be even better. As children, we always fantasized and dreamed that it would be the two of us changing the world back to back, sword in one hand, shield in the other. Side by side, we were supposed to change the world. And that's something that only grew stronger as we set out on this journey. But sadly, it appears as if the path has just gotten a little bit more narrow and a little bit darker. I'm sorry that I will never be able to fill the shoes that you have just blazed this trail upon. You have helped inspire not just me, and Oberon's just going to throw his arms out. This this might not have even come about if you hadn't pushed us, hadn't pushed me to not just accept what this world was and to try and strive to make it better. I can't replace you. I can't do what you did. We come from two completely separate worlds. And yet, somehow, you were the one who managed to be the hero of this story. Know this, that when we topple this inherently unjust empire and tear its roots out from it, that will be your sacrifice, your victory that plants the seeds of a brand new empire.
It's not a dry eye around this pyre. And I believe Tauros, it's time to.
Yeah. As he kind of like watches Oberon kind of like step away, he kind of like nods to him, and you see him kind of like blink, and you see those golden eyes actually almost like leak these like tears made of that are just like still shining, as he kind of almost like rests a hand on Edgar's chest as he lays the weapons on his chest and says, "I am who I am thanks to you. I'm more than the horns on my head, the hooves that adorn my feet. I'm a paladin for the people, for my family, and I'll be a paladin for you." And like he kind of like outstretches a hand as all you see all of the energy from the ceremony kind of like almost starts to coalesce in towards his gauntlet as he like very gently places it onto Edgar's chest, and he'll almost like quietly say, "Baphomalia, take this soul. Keep it safe. Keep it loved. Allow it to finally rest amongst the warriors before him. The story he longed to meet. And let him know this world gives him its thanks for what it will become." And it's not sudden, but you see the energy flow from his arm and into this pyre as the flames almost start to grow from this light yellow into this bright blue all around it. It almost like envelops him like an egg. And it's just like this warm, sudden fire as Toro stands back, and you see that the eyes kind of like stop glowing, but you see the tears are still just running down his face. And he kind of, ever imagines kind of just a silence there amongst some of the cries and sobs as it burns down. And he'll take a deep breath, and you see he's kind of shaking, but he kind of keeps himself firm. As if we could, we would like to invite his family and closest friends to collect his remains into an urn, as he kind of like holds up this very small, delicate urn that was made for him, made for Edgar's.
Yeah. As time goes on, the flame burns, and after, as you all are like standing in vigil, watching the flame burn, eventually it dies out, and what remains of Edgar is ash and fragments of bone. Uh, and as Toros has just said, family and close friends are invited to. There are special instruments, tongs, provided to help collect the remains into the urn. Do you all step forward?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
You all step forward. Each of you begin scooping the ashes, picking up pieces of bone fragment, placing them into the urn. When all of you suddenly hear a slap, and you look up and you see.
Oberon's like, oh, I know where this is.
You all look up and you see that Sierra has just struck Regulus Claudius 30th.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he looks at him and says, "You do not get to do this." And he looks at her, and with this like hurt and sadness in his face, he says, "It was my son, Chu, Sierra." And she said, "No, you do not get to claim him. Not now. Not after you spent his whole life denying him. You do not get to claim him at his death. Stand aside." With this kind of cowed expression, RC30 just kind of steps back, and the funeral continues.
No, the second he does that, Oberon walks over to stand back with him.
Mm-hmm.
And as he walks by, he's not disrespectfully at all, but just very matter-of-factly. If he doesn't, then I shouldn't either.
She looks at you and has this venomous expression on her face and says, "He hasn't earned the right."
And neither have I. And he's just going to walk over and stand by him.
Okay. Yeah. And unless anything else occurs, you will stand beside your father as everyone else collects Edgar's remains into his urn. And then at
the only thing he will do is he'll just turn to his father as this is happening, and he'll just go, "This, I know that I do not fully disagree with what she said, as I know neither do you, but he was family, and he wouldn't have wanted you to have nothing to do with this." And he's just going to pass him Edgar's.
You said eye patch? Sorry, it kind of cut out at the end.
Yeah, eye patch.
Okay. He'll take it, and his face, his composure just fully breaks again, and he begins weeping as he clings tightly onto Edgar's eye patch. And we fade to black as funeral concludes. And now we all the next day, funeral is over, and you all hear that the APE is planning to march down to Ellacreek, where the Republican forces have arrived and are preparing to set up camp and use Ellacreek as a base of operations for planning the assault on Avon. You've also learned that the forces of the rebellion and of Tolestad have arrived in Inag and have found that that city is also abandoned by the Imperial Army, with signs that they have retreated to the capital. So now the plan is to the have everyone march to Ellacreek, where the final preparations for the end of the war shall begin. It's a 7-day journey to reach the village. Over that time, about halfway through, Tauros, you suddenly, as you all are marching, get this like splitting headache. And you swear that you can like hear something like a voice trying to speak to you, and then it just dissipates.
He almost like drops to like a knee while they're marching. He just kind of like hold his head. Can I do some kind of check to see if I can like make out anything? Any kind of like distinguishing like voice, like not like words, but like a recognizable thing.
Yeah. Give me a. We'll call this a either a perception or an insight check.
I'm better with insight.
Good thing you shit at both.
Too bad I'm shit at both. 16?
16. It definitely feels like someone's trying to reach you, but this doesn't feel like a sending spell. This is something different. But you can't exactly make it out, and as it dissipates, it's just hard for you to. It's lost. Whatever was trying to be told to you is gone.
Dissipated.
Yeah.
He kind of like looks around. Are we like actively marching right now, or is this just kind of like during the days?
This is like during the active march.
Okay. He will kind of find his way to Oberon. Oberon, can I talk to you about something?
Of course.
He kind of like looks around. I don't think I saw anyone else react, but did you feel anything recently in your head? Some kind
Did
of almost like
I?
a magical effect?
You did not.
I can't say that I have. Are you feeling well, Tauros?
I feel alright. Something almost felt like it was reaching out to me. Not in a sense of when we've talked to Fen, but something else. Like it was trying to get into my head to tell me something. Do you think it's someone in this camp?
I'm not sure. It could be. Could also potentially be some form of telepathic communication, maybe.
That's what I'm also thinking, but it's weird. It was quick. It was very sudden and then it was gone. It hurt like I don't know, some kind of headache. It was weird. Strange, but
Try.
I might just try to keep near you.
Understood. Yeah, just let me know if it happens again.
And he'll kind of be a little more on like not on edge, but like kind of like try to keep more of an eye out.
Yeah. Yeah, so you all continue the march, and then on the day, Taurus, you don't feel anything additional for the rest of the march. And then on the 16th of Bawanan, uh, you all arrive with and the outskirts of the village of Ellacreek, and however, a good ways before the exact boundaries of the village, you see the camps, tents, and campfires of the Republican Army. Upon arrival, you all are introduced to a lizard folk man wearing plate armor, having like kind of like a very beautiful looking equipment. Who introduces himself as General Odilon Savoy. He says, "It's good that you've arrived. We have encountered a bit of an issue in the village." And like Malika looks confused. She says, "An issue?" And he says, "Well, the mayor of the village is refusing to surrender. We haven't invaded because we understand that this is not a military target, and additionally, there are no guards except for, well, this one odd person who is refusing to listen to reason." Sorry, go ahead.
No, Oberon was just gonna say and
And we're kind of at a loss. If you could go try to see if you could talk some sense to them, they won't listen to us. But I understand, and he says, looking to the rest of you, that you all have some history with this mayor. Maybe you could get him to understand the situation he's in.
Boris is going to ask, what's the mayor's name? And knowing who it is, but...
Yeah.
It's he's a dwarf named Marcus Toldrin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Marcus is a pushover.
I would love to have a conversation with him. He says, and you kind of feel this energy, not the nice warm that you normally been feeling. It is
I just want to talk. I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to him.
I just want to cut off his head.
As he lowers the smite into his sword.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
may I ask who his obstinate friend is?
We couldn't get a name. He just kept saying that he's going to stand here until the heroes arrive.
Oh.
I'm feeling that means us.
Well, we can certainly try.
All right. Yeah. So you all head into town. You see, like, it's the village as it was. Not looking too different from the last time you were here. You notice distinctly that there are none of those like secret police that you had seen previously. Those Claudius agents. There appears to be very few guards in the village as well. It's just kind of like a bunch of people, like looking out of their windows, and you'll head to the manor. Standing in front of the manor, you see a humanoid. He is standing and sorry, let me pull up. Actually, you know what?
Here it is.
AJ, could you describe your character?
Get the fuck out of here!
Right. Give me 1 sec. I should probably get rid of this dead guy from my profile real quick.
Please do. He's already. Well, to
That-
be fair, right now you just need a pile of ashes, and
I
it's
fucking
more
knew,
fair.
knew you had to yourself to offline, you bitch.
Oh, right. Okay. So, who you see is fairly tall, handsome man, looks more like a human from afar. But as you actually take a closer look at the details to him, there is something slightly off, similar to a sort of Madeir style where there are celestial elements to this person. Dark skin, short hair, but wavy and curly with few different colors in it. Wearing beautiful white armor that, if you look closer, isn't metal but actually seems like an ivory, like a pristine bone. carrying a warhammer, a shield, and has a large staff on his back. As he just sees you all start coming in, it's like, "Oh my, the heroes! But my, oh, this is fantastic! I've been looking for you for so long. Oh, Marcus, they're here!"
You were standing just outside of the manor, and then you hear like a window fly open as you look up and you see a dwarven man disheveled, hair's a mess, beard is all tangled up, and he goes, "What? The Empire's here. They're going to save the town, right?"
No. That part, no. The part that we were going to get to when the town was saved. You bringing my friends, the allies that we were requiring. Your best friends. They have finally arrived. I think everything is safe now.
We
don't have to protect you.
His face goes completely white as he looks out and recognizes the four of you.
I just waved to him.
Yeah. Forrest stares daggers at him.
Oh yeah, a little.
I would love to come in and talk, sir.
I just want to talk.
Of course.
Can we
Absolutely,
get your name,
please.
Brave Knight?
Of course, absolutely. It is a pleasure to meet you for the first time. My name is Zaroth. I am a humble steward of Baphomalia. I'm sure she'd let you know that I was going to be here, correct, Tauros?
He like points and is like, "That was Baphomalia?"
Oh, right. She mentioned there may be some issues with everything that happened in the Divine Realm. Let's go inside and discuss further. I believe that would be for the best.
Marcus calls down and says, "Oh, well, actually, the manor's really disheveled right
now." Let's go clean. I will gladly clean. Not a problem. Let's go.
You all just kind of burst in, and Toldrin is like rushing to the back door.
Wound is standing right there blocking the back door.
He opens the door, and there's just Wound, and he's just like quaking, and he just goes, "Of course, good the heroes, welcome again to the village of Ellacreek."
So good to see you. It's been too long, hasn't it, dear?
Oh, indeed. What brings you to my humble village?
Well, for one thing, he's going to kick him in the face. He's going right to his face.
It smacks him. He falls to the ground. You broke his nose. He's bleeding all down
dead.
his face and shirt.
Can Tauros will never see if he knocks him unconscious?
Zaroth will lean over to, I guess, Essa on the point. Is this a mortal thing? Is this how you greet your best friends?
We're gonna get back to the mortal thing here in a minute. There's a lot of
pin in that.
It's like there's a lot of history between those two. Kind of points to Toldrin and Tauros. Goes,
yes, friendship.
That's not to get in their way. But by the way, this whole time Essa has not put on his gauntlet, like his glove. So whenever he holds up his hand, Zaret sees like the ghostly hands that he has.
Go ahead.
Zaret's gonna be like, "Oh, okay. Whatever you all do, I am here to support."
Yeah. So Toldrin.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so Toldrin's like clutching at his nose. He's like, "I think you broke my nose."
Good. And he like picks him up by his collars. "So, I heard you won the last election."
It was a fair and free election. It was voted by the people of the village. I'm meant to. And then
It seemed fair when we were here, didn't it?
He still has blood running down his face. Looks at Tauros. Looks at T. Looks back at Tauros, and then goes, "Please don't kill me."
Oh, it did seem pretty fair from where my good friend Mal was sitting. Wouldn't you say, T? And he kind of like turns over to T, and then he comes back around and clocks him in that.
Oh my god!
With a fist. He's pissed.
He's like, "Oh, no, okay, I'll quit. I'll resign. I'll resign as mayor.
Are you sure you don't want lunch first? What's for knuckle sandwich? Oberon just like whispers to T, "I'm not say it.
Oh, Mark, you're so much more valuable to us in your current position. For the moment. If you didn't have your position, what would be the use of you?
I suppose you have a point. I guess what do you how can I help you out?
Oh, Mark, we just want to be best friends again because we know that you like us so much and we know that you just love the APE so much.
His face goes white again. He's just like, I really can't. I can't let them in. You know what the Empire's going to say if I let them in.
Marcus, the Empire has about 2 weeks left, maybe some change in there. You don't have to worry about that much longer.
Yeah.
Let's
get a group intimidation check going on, and I'll
Yeah,
get everyone advantage.
S is gonna
I'm
go
gonna
down
do an insight check to figure out the vibes of the situation.
S is gonna go down the list of all of the towns they conquered.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god!
Yeah.
That was a
deserved crit.
Valid.
nat 20 for a 29 intimidation
20.
from
Everyone gets-
20 is the lowest roll.
Everyone gets +4. Everyone gets +4.
No, it's not a. It's not a. It's not.
It's not a
it's only a
save.
saves.
Oh, that's
Can-
so
Does
funny.
he get? Taurus, are you going to give him the +4 to
was
not
like,
piss himself?
Could he get a -4?
That on my drink.
Yeah, so he is quaking. He's shaky. He looks more scared than you've ever seen a living thing ever look in your life. And he just goes, "Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. I love the APE. They're great."
See, I knew we could have a good chat and you'd come to reason. Isn't that right, boys? Looking around.
Of course.
Taurus is in his face. Like, he's like on the ground and Taurus is like kneeling, just staring at him. Doesn't say anything to that, just staring at him.
And of course, as soon as the APE is satisfied and things are all done, then I will step down and merely take an advisory role to the new mayor of Malika.
Marcus, you are so smart.
And I get to keep my house, right?
Oh, you get to keep your life?
He just looks
my house, right?
He's so dejected. He just goes,
Oh, don't worry. You'll get some kind of hovel to live in. I'm sure you can come up with a deal with the APE.
"Okay,
Let's just go let them know that we want to be best friends, okay?
understood."
Before we do that, I think we need to talk with our newest friend here. He points to Zareth.
Yes. You fascinate me, friend.
You
I
say
get the feeling I may have made a mistake.
See myself out?
I rolled a 25 insight, so I am assuming Marcus Toldred may have been lying to me.
Oh, that's kind of most things that come out of his mouth. Yes.
what did he tell you about us? I'm
Uh,
just curious.
so I arrived from a point of coalescence not too far from here. Was told this was
Oh.
a city you have been to before. Went around asking about you. No one knew anything, and then this man said he knew you very well and said so long as I protect him and allowed things to settle down in his city, he would take me to you or get me in contact with all of you so I may help you on your noblest of quests.
Enchanté, you can call me T.
I know all about all of you. Trust me, we've heard so many of your legends, and it's a pleasure to meet you for the first time and get to be here. I'm honestly so excited to be able to help you. Mortal world. This plane is weird, but I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, everyone who
Oh my
wants to
God.
give an insight check
Yeah.
can give an
Can
insight
I
check.
Distracted.
Natural 20.
Oh, hell yeah.
26.
14.
5.
You all get the impression he's not lying. He has heard a lot about you all, and he knows he
Hold on.
was very excited to meet you all, and he did come from a place of coalescence.
As he rubs his eyes together. So hold on. You're from the Divine Realm?
Yes. I have been fortunate enough, a child of Fomora myself. He holds something very tight around his neck. He clutches it like it's the most important thing in the world to him, and you'll notice that it's a bone. It's like I am a humble follower of her and have been serving as a steward of Bafamalia as of late. When things happened recently with the issues and the moment with her, things we felt we needed to act, and I nobly volunteered to come and assist you all.
Don't
kinda
worry,
like-
we only do that to sad little things that are racist as shit.
Oh,
Boris kind of like looks him over, just like, "What are you?"
uh, uh, currently I'm in sort of an avatar form to be able to walk in your material plane. Not too sure for how long this will hold up, but I've been assured long enough to be of complete assistance to all of you. You will also notice as he's talking, he is struggling with like proper like movements and everything. Like he doesn't use his fingers at
He
points.
doesn't
It's more
know
like
how
a
to
Barbie
human.
style.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's struggling with a lot of these things.
Hey, you're not in any pain, are you, when you're in this state?
No, definitely not. I'm the strongest I have ever felt, frankly, and I promise you, I am going to be super duper useful and will not be a liability in any way, shape, or form.
Good. Oh, we have some friends who would love to meet you. Oh, they're gonna flip, aren't they, boys?
He'll flip
I-
something.
I
would
think
say
this would be a
so.
big morale boost.
Let's go walk our best buddy Marcus here over to the APE and say hi, huh?
Right. You all march back to the APE. Marcus officially surrenders the village to them. They all move in, and the next day, on the 17th, the forces of Tolestadt and the rebellion arrive within the village of Ellacreek, and plans for the final battle can go underway. We'll have to see. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I would like to, if possible, have taken a moment before that with the group, like the night before, if I had the chance. If that's cool, Jack.
Oh yeah. Go for
We're
it.
running out of time.
Mhm.
Just as like things are setting up to go to bed at some point when you all are together, Zareth would just come up. He very quickly hides a piece of paper that you get the feeling he has rehearsed this before. As he comes up to you, he says, "Allies, and I hope soon to be friends, for we are certainly meeting for the first time ever in this moment. I understand you have gone through quite an ordeal recently.
No, I just got it.
Yeah, I know. Yep,
no,
I know.
no.
I was gonna ask it before, and I wasn't
In-
going to. and
No,
I
no,
was
no.
just
You
like,
can ask it
wait.
after this.
Um,
Yep. No, go
I-
ahead.
just want to say that I, as someone who is going to definitely at no point run out of healing spells when it's necessary in a fight, would promise to be of assistance to you in everything going on. You have gone through so much, and all I can offer is my cleric abilities. And having learned your mortal rituals, the solution, the way to heal your grief in the form of what I believe is called a hug. So if anybody at any point should need one to heal up their grief, please, by all means, Zareth is your man, as he's looking directly at Oberon in that moment.
Oberon walks the fuck out of this tent.
Tauros,
Yeah.
I believe you had a question.
There's a divine sense from Taurus. Is there a very familiar sense coming from this man?
Why are you looking at me like that?
You go with the divine sense, and you register a celestial. A celestial you all have met
No.
before.
No.
Taurus
What?
kind of like leans
God
towards
damn it.
What?
Killsy.
What?
That's where we'll end this episode of Time Page.
No.